Well, without further ado, I think that we need to get rolling into the next match because on the left we have the one, the only, the Smite. In the middle, Iron GM capable of excess cruelty. Unfortunately, we haven't seen too much cruelty from you quite yet, but we are waiting for more. It's Tristan. And on the right side, Iron GM Commodore. Oh, and you know that you want more from him. It is Dana. Now, the voting went pretty well this time. It looks like Dragon Dark was like, yeah, Smite sounds interesting. However, the second person was looking at these three and thought, what could I do? Oh, also Smite. Guess what? Smite is going to be our GM for this next match. Come on in, Smite, whenever you are around. Well, hello there, Smite.
Hey.
Hey.
That's channel name.
Oh, yeah. What is it? Hasta la Cuso, baby?
Yeah.
Oh, they always change it on me. They're just changing it to everything here.
Are you a fan of the Terminator 2 SNES game?
No. I'm not a fan of the Terminator 2 Game Boy game either.
Huh.
I'm not a fan of any Terminator games. Let's be honest. But I don't think you have Terminator today, but you do have a game that's based off of another movie, right?
Yeah. You know what? They're lucky they don't have Terminator. Maybe next time.
Maybe next time. Okay. We can go ahead and just give it out later. Well, what do we have?
We got Warlock, one of my favorites. One of my favorite SNES games. There it is.
This is a very special game. I think I've played a little bit of it. I believe we had it once in Kusogr4nde. That might have been the Genesis version, but it was a while ago.
I speedrun this game. Also, I love the movie.
You speedrun the game?
Very
Oh,
lightly.
oh,
I'm very lazy at speedrunning.
That's fine. Speedrun at your own pace. I mean, that sounds wrong to say, but at the same time, you gotta enjoy what you're doing, and if you need a small little break, that's completely fine. Just take that little break. Yeah.
My speedrun strategy is to do a run every 5 years.
Oh, yeah. I like that strategy. Good. So this game, what genre would you necessarily say this is when it comes to video games?
Oh, it's definitely a clunky action platformer.
Okay, clunky action platformer, side-scrolling, I presume. Yeah, let's see. I really can't remember much about it, except you have this floating orb that sometimes does stuff. That's it. That's all I've got.
So I'll certainly go into it as much as you like, because I certainly love the first movie a lot. It's actually really good for what it is.
Oh,
the second movie, not so much.
I remember reading some of the lore from the second movie, and it was like, this is a little bit out there.
The second movie is incredibly bad, and that is where they got most of the content for this game. But this game kind of went its own way. They kind of took whatever they wanted from both movies and merged them into some abomination. That's what they've done.
That's all I want in life, an abomination for a movie. I don't know, but I love bad movies.
The first one is, if you like Highlander, it's got a lot in common with that kind of thing.
Okay.
It's an action movie. It's kind of goofy. It's pretty good. It follows rules. It sets rules in stone and follows them. Magic's involved, but it never breaks them. The second one is a horror movie starring two kids, and they're terrible actors, and it's just a mess. It's just awful.
Oh, that's
really
right, yeah. I think I vaguely remember some of the weird things, and Satan shows up, and I don't know. It's just bizarre. But I've only read the synopsis. That's all I know about it, and it's already a little too weird for me.
The first movie is he's trying to undo all of creation, and he fails in that, obviously. So the second movie, he's just trying to pull in Satan. He's downgraded his quest quite a bit. He's just trying to summon the devil instead. It's a little lighter task. See if he can pull this one off.
I presume he doesn't do so well there.
No, he loses to, well, I don't want to spoil it. Well, yes, I do. He loses the car headlights. It's real bad.
What? Oh, that's right.
I'll leave the rest up to you folks if you want to watch
Okay,
a
so
warlock be defeated by a car.
well, I mean, like I would assume running over a warlock would stop them, but I guess
Well, that's not
headlights
what
can do.
that's not what happens. He also has finger guns that he uses to shoot real bullets.
Finger guns. Oh my gosh.
I'm making this movie sound better than it is. The first one, though, I really
Yeah, I
do
want to
enjoy.
watch this now. You're not doing a great job of convincing me to stay away. Okay, well, I for sure might watch the first movie one day. Maybe the second one I'll, you know.
Oh, there is a third, but it doesn't even star Julian Sands, the warlock here anymore, whose face is beautifully pixelated into this game, by the way.
Oh my
the third
gosh,
one's really stupid. The
that
third
is
one's like a Skinamax movie.
a Skinamax.
Yeah.
Oh baby.
Just one of those late night Cinemax soft core porn movies almost. It's real not it doesn't even belong in the set. The other two are completely better than that. They're not that.
Well, I'm gonna. Oh, of course this is LJN. Why wouldn't it be LJN?
Yeah. You know, I'm surprised that this movie got a release of any kind for a video game.
By the way, do they have any specific options that they get to change, or do they just go with the defaults?
Default options, unless they want to change the controls, I think they are allowed. There's not a whole lot of controls, though, for a 7-button controller that the SNES is. It's not really... There's not any. They use 3 buttons in this game, I think.
Okay.
8 buttons on this controller.
I think we're ready. What shows up a lot that people could use to spam here?
This game is all about the orb.
Oh, everybody pull out all of your circles, orbs, or other round objects and spam away because I'm doing the countdown right now. Ooh, that's good magic. I like it. Spam! Do it! Apparently someone in chat does not like the orb. Wow, strong opinions there.
Don't like the orb in game, you mean? It's real bad. I mean,
Whatever.
I'll tell you what the orb is. The kid in the second movie was learning some superpowers from his family of druids. He's just like the ascended new druid, and that's like he's like this guy except 20 years younger. Really, this guy doesn't exist. I feel like he's supposed to be the hero from the first movie, but he's not at all. He's not a wizard in that. He's a Belmont.
Okay. You know
so
what?
The second kid, he's got druid powers, and he, for one scene for like 2 minutes, he's learning how to make a baseball float. And apparently they thought that was a big deal, and they made an entire game mechanic out of having an attack orb.
I forgot to start the timer. My apologies.
That's just more Warlock to enjoy for everybody.
Well, you know, I had to mess it up sometime today. This is the first time, so Smite, I don't know, I'm cursed.
Well, you got me in here ranting about this movie that no one but me has seen.
I was getting really excited. Yeah.
No, we watch a lot of bad movies, so we queued up this one, and we were actually impressed. We all walked away with it thinking we had seen something pretty good, and then we watched the second one, and we not so much anymore. Actually, it was really bad.
Well, I don't know. The first one would probably does the second one actually change your opinion of the first?
No, it was just a cheap horror movie, just awful. It's not interesting at all.
Okay.
The first one had a lot of cool stuff.
You know, I do have to say, watching this game though, the graphics are actually pretty impressive, especially in the first area. There were like 3 layers of the parallax going on. It's pretty.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
They sold me on that with the graphics. I sure, when I was like 8, didn't have the movies in tow when I went to play this game. My parents got me this game, and I beat it because of the graphics. Then I tried to rent the movies. They were rated R. There's a scene where he's like, well, it's very violent, and he's pulling a map out of the innards of somebody, basically. And my mom saw that, and I was not allowed to watch the movie for another 10 years. It turns out it was just too violent.
Oh, whatever. We watched Look, Indiana Jones, the very first one, Raiders of the Lost Ark, you know, they have a guy's face melt off, and that was PG. You could see somebody get their guts ripped out. It's fine. Not going to traumatize you forever. I mean, it might.
I told them about one of the items here. There's a bunch. One of the items is that face. It's a whole extra life. You can use it whenever you want to restore your skin on your skull, which is your health bar in this game, which is a very bizarre health bar for sure, but that's what it is. And the extra life, Dragon just used it. I feel like that's a huge mistake, but I gave them. I wanted them to know that if they want to eat their green mushroom, basically they can. You can just heal to full, which is pretty neat. This game has some good ideas for it.
It automatically heals to full.
Yeah, it's a real bad to play game, but it's got some cool stuff in it.
Okay, gotcha. I'm wondering a little bit with the items. Can you have more than one item at the same time, or do you have to burn through them? Do you happen to know if you can have more than one item?
Yeah, you can. Sorry.
Dog problems?
Yeah, I got phone call. You can get a whole truckload of items. A lot of them are really bad.
Oh, okay. Cool. Oh no, someone is offering to bring a card of this. I'm probably good. I don't need to play this. I don't need to play every game we have here. I just need to watch every game we have. By the way, Smite, I know yesterday was the first day that we had you on as a GM. You're back today. It's been a blast having you so far. You know, you do your little arcade pit, which has been a blast to watch and play a little bit in. I'm glad that you're able to do a little GMing here. Share your love of video games.
Yeah, this is definitely they both were games that I enjoyed.
No, the last one you stopped playing after half an hour. You're like, I can't. I'm done with this. But this game, you know, I would say that this game has jank, but it's kind of fun anyway. What makes this Kuso? What makes this bad?
Well, they're games I enjoy giving out. I don't actually.
Oh.
I play this one though. This game's bad because of the kind of thing that just happened to
that knockback
Magic there. Yeah.
Wow.
It's just really hard to get anything to happen. So the orb, for as neat as it sounds to be able to have an option that you can control, grab items with, kill enemies with, it follows set paths. It only goes up and down, kind of diagonal and left and right. It's not very good at what it does, and it's essential. It's better than you still, even though I say it's not very good. It's better than your little blast. Your blasts are terrible. So you really don't have a lot of options to deal with an overwhelming amount of enemies, though they are cool looking. I don't know if anyone has been grabbed by the vines yet, but they pull you right in the earth, and it's really neat looking. That kind of stuff makes this game pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen
fun.
it. Yeah, I can definitely see that, especially if you have no idea that the vines are there.
Both of the players went the right way here. So, you know, things that make this game bad were if they didn't go in this random cave, which I've seen a bunch. I've handed this game out before to people, and some people don't go in that cave at all. They keep going right like you would expect in a video game, and it ends up being a dead end where you probably will die to all the nonsense over there.
Oh, I think I remember that from the last time we had this. Yeah.
It's there's an extra life over there, and that's it. And you might get it and get back. It's just, there's a lot of items in this game, so they think they can just do that kind of stuff all the time.
Yeah, they're like, might as well kill ya. Hey, Matrick used the orb, and it actually worked. That's cool.
The best way to use the orb is to use an item, and then it goes crazy and hits everything on screen just by coincidence for some reason. The orb just kind of goes wild. Dragon's actually in a really good place here with health, and Matt is not. Yeah,
Matrick is very possibly, gonna die. He's got a skull, very angry looking skull up there.
Yeah, last hit for him. The potions that Dragon is sitting on are actually heals. I don't know if he knows that. I can tell you what all these items do. Like that stick there causes an earthquake. It doesn't do anything actually in game, really.
Wait, it doesn't do anything?
It shakes the screen and sometimes solves puzzles, but effectively it's almost worthless as an item versus that skull, which clears the screen. So you have some good items to use. You have so many that it's hard to deal with, really. They flood your inventory.
I love it. Well, you know what? If you're a Warlock, you want to have access to tons of spells. Like, honestly, I feel like being overly generous is the right way to go, especially since it's very deadly. It's just inventory, like switching between items would probably be a bit of a pain.
Ultimately, the only items you really care about are the potions to get the heal and the extra life that you don't even use as an item. Like, it's generally a bad idea to waste a 1-up. You take a lot of hits at least. It's got that going for it.
Cool.
So the second lucky charm that they're after here, unfortunately, it's kind of not on the beaten path. It's kind of out there, so they might have trouble finding it. They do have to get it.
Has a cutscene here. Ah, scary.
Oh, he's game overed.
Oh, that's not good.
He's being insulted right now by the Warlock. That has a voice clip. It's something like, "You fool" or something from the movie.
You fool.
Julian Sands plays the Warlock in this, and he did a really good job. Like, most of the reason the movie... if there's anything good about the second movie, it's him again. Like, it's the same actor as the first one, and he's still good at it. He's enjoying what he's doing quite a bit, so... It's got that going for it. Hey, there it is. The lucky charm.
Yum. Well, good. It looks like Dragon Dark is definitely getting his sugar for the day. He's eaten 2 Lucky Charms. Matrick has only gotten 1. And I believe that is probably visually the easiest way to track any progress here.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the game is kind of a train wreck, and the third one takes most of the game to get. Something like 60% of the game is spent on the third one, so it will be harder to track it than just that. I expect they'll both get the second one, but the third one, that would be a feat.
I did find a little bit about the plot of the film here that I'd like to share. Warlock is a small Utah mining town in the early 1880s. Cowboys working for I think this is a different Warlock. Okay.
I don't know what movie that is. Cowboys. Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah, so Utah had the original Warlocks. Just telling you.
I think it was Boston that the first movie was in.
Yeah, let me see. Yeah, Boston, Massachusetts. The Warlock is taken captive in 1691 by the witch hunter Giles Redfern. What a good name. He is sentenced to death for his activities, including the death of Redfern's wife, but before the execution, Satan appears and propels the Warlock forward in time to late 20th century Los Angeles, California. Redfern follows through the portal. I probably would too, yeah. If I'm a witch hunter.
Yeah, especially that one. Killed your wife. He's a Belmont, like, through and through. He is exactly what you would expect Richter to look like in a movie. He is extremely just Belmont with a whip and everything.
I love it. Oh. I'm gonna have to watch this sometime. I don't want to spoil too much of the story, but where it starts getting a little bit weird is definitely with the second movie, which, as you said, pretty much isn't at all canon.
It's terrible. They collect Lucky Charms in that one too. He needs them to summon Satan, is what he's doing. So that's what we're doing here, I guess. It's kind of weird. This game doesn't really follow that. They're just collecting these weird things, and they are this goofy in movie too.
This rune will allow your return. Dragon Dark is playing around with a couple settings right there, and there is a password. Is that an L at the end? SHPJL.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
We are a druid. We're not the Belmont at all in this game. I think we're the kid. That's the only thing that's even close to what we are in the movies is the teenage kid who is using energy blast and an orb. But this doesn't have anything to do with the movies beyond almost just being like a fan fiction of it. It's kind of weird. Everything they're doing in this castle that makes up almost all of the game is not in any of the movies. There's no castle anywhere. There's no Warlock to fight with the Warlock.
Yeah, that's strange. Okay, so let me go ahead and read this plot from the second movie because I feel like it won't spoil anything except for how bizarre it is. Okay. Elsewhere, a young woman has possession of one of the rune stones due to it being passed down through her family. She wears the stone to impress her date, but as she looks out her kitchen window at the lunar eclipse, she rapidly becomes pregnant and gives birth to the Warlock, Satan's son. After he is reborn, he kills the woman who gave birth to him after she insults him. I'm sorry. That's the story. It's so good.
I remember him being naked and yelling at her. I don't remember most of that scene. Well, it looks like both players have beaten stage 2.
Okay.
They're working on entering the castle now. They're in the same place now.
Gotcha.
So the start of stage 3 is this really obnoxious thing where the Warlock constantly revives statues into men and gargoyles, and you must fight them all for. It's quite a while of journey before you actually get into the castle.
Yeah, well, castles usually aren't conveniently located. I mean, they're away so that people don't attack or, raid the castle or anything like that. So I understand what they're doing here. Dragon Dark appears to have met the Warlock who summoned this gargoyle to help out.
Yeah, he won't stop it. He's also immune to damage during this whole thing.
That's nice.
I think what really sold me on the first movie is that time travel thing. Beastmaster did it. All these other movies, these old 80s action movies, where somebody from a different realm or from the past comes to the current century, and it's really dumb. Most of the movie is spent they're like looking at TV and fighting with it and stuff. Just like cavemen finding out what technology is, and it's really annoying. And this movie didn't do that.
Really?
We were all preparing for it, and he just kind of hops in the car. He's a little bewildered, but he kind of picks up immediately. They just completely skipped that nonsense.
So he's not a dumb Warlock. He's like.
Well, the Warlock does it too, but the main character who you follow, he definitely jumps on board. He's like, oh, okay, yeah, we're 300 years in the future. Makes sense that there's no horses. The lady who was with him tried to explain to him that the world wasn't flat, and he's like, yeah, I know.
I love it.
Really good stuff. He did not want to fly on planes or anything like that, but he understood that it was a thing.
Yeah, he's not so far in the past that, look, 1400s they knew that the world wasn't flat. Like, come on.
It was really impressive how they handled that. It was the first time I've ever seen that. He actually just started driving cars and stuff real quick, and it was just good. He integrated everything. Yeah,
it's not like Bill and Ted where Genghis Khan just goes and gets addicted to Twinkies. They took it seriously in Warlock.
Not that I want to insult Bill and Ted. That's a good movie.
Oh, it's great. The games are a little less great, but yeah, it's a great movie. Yeah, you're selling me more and more on this movie. Not the second one, but for sure the first.
I don't want to give too much of it away, but the last thing I'll say about it, plot-wise, direct scene-wise, is there's a Mennonite who's seeing the signs of a witch in his house because the Warlock is there messing around in his basement or something, in his attic, looking for something, and it's like his milk is spoiled, his linens are not the right color. Things are weird, right? Things that you would associate with witches to him. And he gets upset, and he paints a big pentagram on his barn to call for help. And the freaking Belmont sees it and runs in and helps him out, and it's great. They work together to solve this problem. It's amazing. He puts out the anti-witch symbol, and here comes Belmont right away. It's amazing. It was great.
I love it. Oh. I hate when my linens just suddenly change.
He says he's bewitched, but he's right. This time he's right. Finally. He's finally correct. He's finally bewitched. He was so energetic, this old guy.
I'm just trying to think right now. Warlock. If you had him, what happened?
That pit was the way forward. I forgot. That's really weird, but it is. That's progress. Jumping down that pit. That's good
Yay!
work.
I hate it when pits are progress because you just don't know. But
Yeah.
honestly, pits in the real world usually aren't infinite, you know? A lot of times there's stuff down there. Just jump down all the pits you see, everybody. Oh my gosh, you know what? I feel like we were talking about the company that made this yesterday. Because the company is Real Time Associates Incorporated, and they made a lot of other games. They did a lot of ports. They worked on like Toxic Crusaders, The Rocketeer. Uh, did they work on a Rocky and Bullwinkle game? I don't know if they did. Because I'm having weird memories coming back. Maybe they didn't. Oh, they worked on Rad Gravity. Okay, that makes sense. But yeah, they definitely are pretty big curators of crap. And this game looks beautiful, but it definitely is difficult to control,
It is,
especially the
and
orb.
definitely the worst part about it. Like, I think people could play the first 2 levels and be like, okay, it's getting a little crappy, but I think game is all right. And then they get to this section that the players have brick walled against here, where it gets to be a really long time between passwords. It still gives you new passwords every couple stages, but now you stop feeling like you're making progress. This castle stage just keeps on going forever, and it's nonsense. It's full of traps that are just not fair. You do have extra lives, but not enough. I hope that Matt knows how to use items here, because if not, they're in trouble already.
Hopefully. Did you give them a manual or any information?
I couldn't find a manual aside from the one I have, but he's got it. He's using them.
I love it. You know what? They're in the bracket. They did well enough that, you know, manuals are for, are when you're feeling like you're nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the orb's problem is that you have to stand still when you use it, but I mean, it really is better at reaching weird angles than your shot, because your shot is very bland, very blaster kind of Mega Man shot. You can't really kill enemies above you and stuff with that thing. So it starts to come in handy right here, and if the players don't start using it a lot, they're going to have a really bad time.
True.
It also hits for as much as you do, so it's just as good.
How fast does it shoot?
Oh, the orb, it just it does constant damage, so the enemies get little iframes. All of them do, but you can still hit them pretty consecutively with that thing. As fast as possible. As fast as the game will allow, you can hit.
Okay, I gotcha. Well, good. Fire away.
Matt is almost in the castle. He's got to beat another gargoyle without taking a hit here. Oof. I saw Dragon get 1 or 2 screens into the castle. I don't remember how far it is to the next password, but I think we might be here for a while. This might take some mastery, this section.
Yeah, Matrick definitely got a game over. Luckily, the passwords aren't too convoluted. It's not like cheesy, thank goodness.
Yeah, it's just 5 letters.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, cheesy was pretty hilarious yesterday. If you caught any of that, slow beef. we laughed a little bit, just a teeny tiny little bit. Oh, it was so good. Well, I'm having a lot of fun with this. We're 21 minutes in. Honestly, they're about where I would expect them to be at this point in a match, especially given how strong they are as players.
Yeah, I mean, what they're dealing with now is mostly successfully getting in with enough items. I see Dragon's got 2 lives now, like really getting what he needs to happen here, because the castle is where most of the nonsense happens, not really out here. This part isn't strictly too difficult. These enemies don't do anything new. They just do the same thing over and over again.
I like these sound effects. Oh my gosh. Okay, Dragon Dark is starting to figure out ways to use this orb that are actually helping. It's Still seems a little bit annoying to use, not gonna lie.
It takes a second to fire if you actually use it to go in a direction. But if you just hit the orb button, it flies into place, and anything that's in the way during that period will take damage. So for that, it's really good.
That's probably
like
the best way to do it. Just tap.
It's good at gathering items, and it actually is the main source of damage in this game. You really don't have any other options for most of it. The beam just isn't there. I mean, it did great work against that guy.
Oh, yeah.
Back in.
Oh my gosh. I'm trying to remember. It feels like this castle has a lot of either really dangerous enemies or just a lot of death traps as it
This
goes
castle
on.
has a lot of stuff, just too much to remember. I've got it all muscle memorized, but to actually say what's in it, it's a lot of these kind of enemies that take way too many hits. A lot of pits, a lot of like rising lava traps, the kind of Mario stuff, a lot of things like that. And this game cannot support that kind of stuff. It just doesn't have the movement for it.
Yeah, I can see that, especially like the turnaround animation. I feel like they were focused more on the animation than the gameplay.
Oh, they definitely went for graphics over gameplay for this game.
I mean, the graphics are so cool for the Super Nintendo. Look at how clean that running is.
There's a really neat section at the end where I don't know if we'll get there. It's pretty far in, and they'll really have to start crushing it to get there. But the finale of this, you're invading a wizard's castle. He's got one of the runes for some reason. So the Warlock's going after him, and they actually don't like each other. They are not friends. So the wizard is attacking you and him at the same time, and you sometimes see them fight each other. But at the end, they turn into gargoyles and fight each other. The Warlock wins and kills the wizard, and then you become a gargoyle, and you have this. Really, it doesn't control well, but it's neat. You become a gargoyle for a minute and have a duking match with this guy.
Pow pow.
You become one of the gargoyles that you fight 100 times throughout the castle, because of course you do.
That's so good.
So here's this. This part's really tough. You must shoot the ceiling to shoot the platform down to jump on it quickly because your platform is sinking.
Yeah. Oh, geez. It's.
Good work. That was really well done.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised that he was able to get through there. There's so many parts that. Oh, he's currently locked in a room where he has to shoot the platforms up above, and
Missed.
That's kind of expected.
Yeah, it's a tough one. You have to be dead on accurate, and your timing on the jump over has to be good too. It's both. It's very precise. There's not room for error on this. And here's where really wish you could use the orb for this. Can't. That's why it's so hard, because the beam, anytime you must rely on it, is bad news.
Yeah, I can see that. Well, I'm just working on getting stuff a little bit communicated here so that we know what's going on with our final match today. It looks like, though, Dragon Dark has made a lot of progress. He found this diamond thing.
It's a levitation triangle. He's got to hit the switch, but it doesn't let him do it very well.
The levitation triangle. That's my favorite kind of triangle.
There it is. All right. That's another section cleared. Well, can you solve this puzzle? Oh, there it is.
Oh, yeah. There he goes, leaving. Is that going to be a new password?
Unfortunately, not quite.
The quest for the scone continues. Dang it.
So, they have a lot of castle assets. They didn't skimp on that at all. It's different looking every time. It's just none of them are interesting because it's all grimy castle. So this is where the game really starts to just drag on forever.
Yeah, I can see it. Oh, falling chandeliers of sorts. Didn't even look like a fancy chandelier, though. Just one of the stupid circle ones.
Well, Matt has not figured out diagonal shooting yet, I don't think. And there's the wizard.
I don't think
After
he
that.
has. Oh, that's right. I remembered the last time we had this, people were sitting there for ages trying to figure out the diagonal shooting. Because you absolutely have to... What? Or that kind of worked.
Yeah, I don't think you can do it without shooting diagonal. You sink too fast. You're going to have to do it that way. Unfortunately, it's quite a journey before you can get back to try again. So that's the kind of thing that makes you forget what you tried before. The wizard has installed a force field. You have to find a switch. This is a really tedious journey now. You do have a roll move in this, so there's that.
Action roll. Yeah, how do you roll in this? Is it just like hold down and jump? Or
You hold down while running forward.
while running forward? Okay. That's actually pretty innovative to slip that in. I'm not sure many games had a run into a roll or a slide back in the Super Nintendo days.
It helps a lot because there's a lot of stuff like that where the blade's moving across your upper body. The roll is perfect for this. If it weren't so slow, everything's slow. Everything takes forever to do. The spike in the wall gets me every time. What a goof. How far have you seen people get in this?
I feel it was partway through the castle, but not super far into it. Like, honestly, these two players are really good. I expect that they'll get at least farther than any of our other players did. But I think we might have seen the third lucky charm.
Well, that is really far. If they actually got a hold of that, there's only... Are there two in here? I can't remember. I think there's just one, and it's the entire castle, and it's quite long. I do
It's
think
so
the
long.
Dragon's getting close to the password. The next one is quite a journey, but I think they're almost there. They've got... Here's the thing about this game, and it might actually be better for Matt to just restart, because you can stockpile all of those lives and items and really benefit from it a lot.
Yeah, during the first stages.
Yeah, so Dragon's got that going for them right now. They're just rolling in stuff. You can just run through. You don't really need to evade anything when you have that kind of damage tanking.
Oh, yeah.
It's really nice. I saw them just pick up yet another extra life. I don't know how many they have, but... a puzzle.
Let's see. Yeah, Dragon Dark is moving up. You know, I do wonder if Matrick, is even thinking about how many lives he had early on. He had plenty, but at the same time, I'd be concerned about how the other player is doing, and it might be a little bit difficult for me to, get up the guts to even hit that reset button, you know?
Yeah, I mean, what's holding them up right now is the platforming, and HP items won't help with that.
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, so Dragon is right next to the next password. If they clear this screen, they'll get another one.
Good. Good. Yeah, the flying gargoyles are a little bit annoying, but honestly, Matrick has enough potions that I think he's going to be able to get through it just fine. Dragon Dark's fighting rainbow lines. I hate those. Okay, good. He.
This puzzle's really showing what for here. I know the
Yeah.
solution, and it's just been evading them. It's not too complicated because there's only 3 switches.
Yeah, you gotta use the switches for sure.
The problem is that one turns on and the other one's blocked, then I can't seem to get it. There it is.
There we go.
There's a couple different ways to do it, but ultimately, one has to be on and off.
Wow. So, this one reviewer for this game said they thought the game was too easy, and then they said it was just boring. I tend to disagree. This doesn't really feel like too easy at this moment. I mean, we've seen a lot of death. We've seen plenty of game overs. We've seen password usage.
It's definitely the kind of game where if you are doing well, you just get better and better because you just they stopped doing the instant death stuff for a while, and if you have a bunch of extra lives and HP stored up, you could just item your way through a lot of the hazards. So that person might have done that. They might have successfully did that platforming we just saw with the blocks. That's really one of the big hazards.
Hey, Matrick is into the castle. This is definitely a good mark of progress for him. It's gonna take a little bit of work to catch up to Dragon Dark, but if Dragon Dark gets walled with some of the shenanigans in the castle, like, Matrick has a chance. I wouldn't say either player is out of it for sure. The spinning blades on the ground, I wonder how much damage they do. Because...
Oh, they're not too bad.
Oh, okay.
I think most of the stuff in this does a little bit, and the potion heals, well, probably 20% of your life. It's kind of hard to measure because it's a face, but it heals a good bit. And I think you can hold 9 of those. There are 2 ruins in this castle. So I was wrong about that. So this castle makes up most of the game, and it's got a third of the items in it that you need. All told, they don't mean much, though.
Yeah.
They don't do anything for you or anything. It's not like you gain abilities or anything.
Hey, Dragon Dark has a password that will be a significant amount of help. Oh,
yeah,
and
they're very happy.
Matrick is typing in Discord. This is absolutely impossible. Yeah, so reviewer for... Who was it who reviewed it? Game Players? You're wrong. It's not too easy.
They're, I think they're stuck on the diagonal shots. And I'm surprised that's been a sticking point for anybody because I figured that out when I was fighting the aerial gargoyles. I just, instinctively tried to shoot upwards. It worked.
It's just something that a lot of people have struggled with when playing this game. I've seen others just get walled at that point, and Matrick just needs to figure this out. He thinks it's impossible, but that diagonal shot is absolutely crucial.
Definitely played harder platformers than this. It's just that there's so much. There's so much at once that it wants you to do.
Oh, yeah.
And finding the way is a real slog.
Inscribe ye password, and you shall pass. Wow. Word. Dragon Dark having a little bit of a buffering over here. Castle's full of options.
Full of objects that the wizard
objects.
I was like throwing at you, just I guess is what's happening. Like spears, swords, paintings, all kinds of junk. Anything he can find to annoy you. He does not like you in his castle.
I have a feeling I wouldn't put like blades in the floor if I owned a castle. I'd probably like at least have some security alarms, but like I'd end up hurting myself. Okay, I know myself. Blades.
Well, the wizard, he don't walk. He just hovers around, so.
He does have the shield around him as well. So I guess that's practical. Dragon Dark, you can do it. I've got faith.
Missing that elevator by an inch.
This bass is too strong, okay? This is like Seinfeld bass. I love it. It's absolute perfection. That's what this game is. Especially the music.
I don't feel like it's got a lot of music variety. Unfortunately, this is a common song.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine if you're really, really are into bass.
No, the potion.
Aha.
This big pot of goop. It turns your blast orange for a while, and it just makes it so you can do double damage with your blast. So finally, the blast for a little while is pretty good. It's as good as it should be.
Yeah.
It does twice as much, so these enemies that take 8 suddenly are reasonable and fun to fight for a little while. Very short a while.
Yeah, that's kind of disappointing that, like, it takes so long to beat these really slow, shuffling enemies. They just amble towards you, and I don't think they even have bodies inside the suits of armor. Like, it's so uninspiring. Just kill armor.
I think you have a set number of shots, and then they force you to shoot a switch with your valuable ammunition.
Oh, no. Okay, the music's starting to kill me. It's there. It's a little bit ridiculous. Matrick is starting to get close to the castle again. Gotta kill these gargoyles. It's just being a really long slog to get through this area and then just game over in the castle. He's gotta learn that diagonal shot. If he doesn't, there is no chance.
If you thought the first night was bad, how about this guy who shuffles a little faster, takes 3 times more damage?
Seriously? He's got a flail, too.
Yeah, that's how you know he's the tough one.
Oh, what a jerk.
Lots of switches, lots of elevators.
Okay, Matrick getting into the castle. You know, I think rather than a slide to get into my castle, I'd have a door. Just my own opinion. Smite.
I think you're at the top of the castle where you want to be, and there's a pit up there, and you just...
Oh, okay.
It salts you and forces you to do all these levels. There's no way to skip it, of course, so... I feel like the wizard just pulled a prank on you right away, just to set the tone for what you're in for.
I love that even the basic platforming that Dragon Dark's trying to do right there to get up on the teeny tiny ledge was being a little bit difficult. Okay,
it's too bad we won't see the final level because the Warlock did this thing. I don't know if we talked about it any, but at the start you were crossing a bridge and he comes out and blasts the bridge, so you have to jump over a tiny little pit. He thought this was the best move he could come up with, so he did that, and if you fall in you die. Well, I
wouldn't destroy my bridge.
The entire final stage is bridges, and he does it 50 times. He never gives up.
Are you serious?
Eventually, he's gonna get you with this.
Well, no. Wow. Smite, that is beautiful, and I wish that we could see that.
Oh man, Matt is doing it the hard way, showing me that it can be done. Oh, that's amazing.
Isn't there more coming up in a little bit, though?
Yeah, he's got one more section of the same.
Yeah. Let's see if Matt can get through it.
That is very tough.
Yeah, that's not something that you're expected to do.
I think they're going to have to use a diagonal shot anyway at the end of the tunnel. So it's all going to be for naught. All this pain. Oh.
Oh, no!
The projectile limit.
Yeah, I'm actually shocked at how he's doing that. You know, some of the people who are playing are really good at getting things that unfortunately will not help make them progress, but is impressive nonetheless.
Yeah. This is not an easy game to jump on.
Oh, geez.
I don't actually know what the difference between Genesis and SNES in this are.
I can't recall, but yeah, we did have Genesis before. I always personally prefer Super Nintendo whenever given the option. Just me, though.
Okay, so
Yes, we got a game over so we could hear the voice acting.
I guess he doesn't have to diagonally hit that switch.
Huh.
He's almost got it. This is pretty frustrating.
Yeah, this is dumb.
There is fall damage, in so much as if you fall too far, you just instantly die, which is what happened to Dragon there.
That's nice. Oh my gosh.
I don't know how far it is. It's fairly generous, but it does exist. You can't fall like stories and stories.
Matrix having such a hard time with the Switch. I know that Dragon Dark had a bit of a hard time with it. There we go. That's what we were looking for.
This levitation thing is kind of weird. You actually have to button mash to get hover off of it.
Are you serious? Well,
so you jump on it and then it gives you levitation for a little while, and that can be mashed to jump higher. Kind of strange. Figured it out though. We have progress. He did it without ever learning diagonals. I don't know if that's going to come up. I don't know if there's another section that requires them in this game. I'm not sure.
I know that there are some switches that are high up that you have to shoot diagonally, and either in this area or the next one, like I feel like he's going to get walled.
He's got a ways to go before the password still also. I think he's like halfway there, ultimately. It's quite a journey, this one.
Do you really only have that one life? And the extra lives that you can have in your inventory? Or
yeah, you start with 0, ultimately. Any life I told them what they look like. It's a blue fire on the floor. A big blue fire is an extra life, so they know what it is when they see it. It's pretty significant. There's enough of them around. I don't feel like it's terribly unfair about that.
That's good. Oh, Matrick discovering that there are possibly some walls that you can go through, which I think is actually required a couple times.
It sure is. Usually you get some nice stuff, though.
Oh, good. You know, I'd have to say there are worse things about the level design. The diagonal shooting to drop those platforms down is kind of one of those unforgivable things for this game, I'd say. Like, it's
nonsensical.
It's bad.
There are some cool items in this castle. There's electric shields. There's triangles that spin around you like the Bible in Castlevania style kind of shield.
Oh, yeah.
There's more earthquakes. Oh, no, down a pit.
Matrick,
oh,
no. Oh, no.
Still has one left.
Oh, good. I was very concerned for a second.
I think this is the last one in their way for a password, so I was really in despair there for a second. They are almost in the same vicinity. Oh, no!
No! Again! Oh!
It's not making those jumps happen.
I'm so angry. I'm so angry at this game. And I think Matrick is probably getting very angry at this game as well.
That was an unfortunate hit twice. I don't think there's a whole lot of instant death like that. I don't know what happened.
You know, you said that the platforming in this game was awkward. I think it's partly because of the response time, because they wanted to make the animations look so good. I don't know if it's necessarily his fault, but at the same time, you know, if you fall one time, you got to make sure that you're careful the next time, you know. Don't do the same thing.
You probably have to jump a little earlier than you would expect in this kind of game.
Yeah. Or I'm thinking with other games, especially if they sometimes don't register your input, I sometimes do a double or a triple tap just to make sure that it gets executed. If it's just delayed, though, yeah, go ahead and push it early. I've played a lot of games that are just not responsive, though. My favorite triple mesh game to get one jump off is Xena. Just gotta hit that triangle button a whole bunch. Okay. Well, at this point, we are getting pretty close to the end. We've got like 13 minutes left. Honestly, compared to what I've seen before in matches, I'd say Dragon Dark is really standing out as a strong player in this game. I'm not too surprised Dragon Dark won the original Kusogr4nde. He did a fantastic job there. I wouldn't be surprised to see him make it really far and possibly towards the end of this one as well.
If you can beat the castle in this, you can beat any of it. There's not a whole lot that comes up that's new. it's very repetitive elements of danger.
How much is after the castle?
Oh, it actually feels pretty fresh to finally get out of the castle. So I feel like if the game is 2 or 3 hours long, the castle makes up 2 hours of it. You probably have an hour left. Gameplay at that point.
That makes sense.
It starts to feel way better. Even though you go to a graveyard swamp kind of place, you just get out of the castle, you're so happy. It's so much better to be out of here. If this castle was cut from the game or just toned down to 1/10 of its length, this game would actually be all right. I think it would be an okay.
Yeah, I could see that. 1/10 of the length. No,
like if it were done already. The first 2 levels felt good because they were over, even though they weren't good. That they were over so quick was just, there's too much content, too much bad content.
You know, I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about this game. Honestly, I'm not really bothered about the length personally. I think that, especially if they give you a password system or a save system, that's fine if it's a little bit longer. Like, as long as it's not repetitive. What's
nice
that?
Work. Used a levitation orb hidden in the wall to hover up there to find the secret spell.
Oh, I like it.
Doesn't know what it does yet. Wonder if we get to see it used. I think that one's an explosion.
Anyways, yeah, I don't mind if things are a little bit longer when it comes to a game. It just, personally, you know, as long as it doesn't get repetitive and boring, go ahead and, you know, make it a little bit longer. But what you said with them basically running out of ideas later on, that's a little bit disappointing for me.
Yep, they do more of the same. For the other half, we haven't even seen half the castle, really. Ultimately, we're only like 1/4 done. Where Dragon is about 1/4 done. Okay. It's very long. Well, that spell didn't do anything, so glad we found that secret. Good stuff. We tried to use it on this mighty armor, I understand, but unfortunately, the thing it's next to doesn't actually have any effect.
Oh no. Dude. I really want to hear the music in the next area. I want to hear if it's different.
I want to say it's not. It probably is, but it's probably the same sort of music.
Same
I don't
style.
think I would be able to. I don't think I'd be able to tell you what stage a song is from, ultimately.
Okay, that's fair enough.
You are playing as a druid, and the warlock is running away from you and trying to collect runes.
I'm just amazed that they're this far into the castle and haven't found a single lucky charm. Like, it feels like they should have found 2 in this place by now.
That's what really makes it feel slow, is you have this progress measurement up top constantly in the HUD for no reason, no reason at all. And then you just stop getting it for so long.
Oh yeah. I Does it speed up after you leave the castle, like with how many stones you get, the pace that you get the stones?
At that point, with 2 left, I'd say so. They're big stages. They're finale stages. They're pretty long. They're pretty hard too.
Okay.
Oh, I think we soft locked Matt here. I think he's dead. I think he's finished.
Oh no. Matt.
If
Okay, he
only he knew.
died. He's getting back. If only.
The way he's doing it is incredibly precise.
Yeah, I'm honestly shocked that he made it work. Like, this is not at all what you do in the Genesis version. I think it might actually be impossible. And somehow he just found a super precise way to do it here.
It feels like if the stone starts to go under the green goop, it doesn't come back up, and that's the end of that.
Yeah. Oh, and he's through again. Very nice. Again,
I don't think you're allowed to shoot while hovering.
Are you
the spell has
serious?
to wear off. Yeah, that's why he's not able to aim very well. He has to wait till the hover ends, and then he's allowed to try and animate a shot, which is it's a long wind up. It's like throwing a pitch.
That's amazing. I love it.
It's a fighter game, Hadouken, so you have time to react to. Dragon's nearly through to the alchemy lab, which is where the third one is.
Aha.
Also, spell still not working. Still not a functional. Oops. This demon likes to throw high and low. This is the thing you turn into, by the way, when you do it. He's gonna give you a taste of his own. Yeah, there it is.
Ooh. Now we're on top of the castle.
I like the idea of the bad guys fighting each other, but it's not done very well here.
Yeah, it's a cool idea.
They don't go in on it enough. Dragon just used... I mean, it doesn't really matter at this point, but he just used his 1-up to heal a third of his HP, and I feel like that's a huge mistake. Oh my.
Uh-oh. Okay, Dragon Dark is fighting. Oh, well, he was fighting.
Ah, that's unfortunate. He used his 1-up for HP that didn't matter.
I think that's gonna be it, yeah. I mean, if you're right at the end of your life, it makes sense to use it as HP, especially if you're in the middle of a big fight. But I think that's pretty much it for Dragon Dark. I don't know. He probably can't get back into it. Might as well hop back in and keep playing, though, Dark.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. There's too much forced walking.
Yeah. The levels are so long.
They are pretty extensive.
I think that's the most annoying part, just the length between the checkpoints, you know. If that were done away with, the long length here, it might be enjoyable. Possibly.
Just more passwords. I mean, at least people would finish it. I feel like people won't finish the castle most of the time. This is where the first and second castle passwords are too far out and too much dedication.
Oh yeah, I think people would probably give up, like, playing during the castle. You know, if you rented it and you kept playing this part over and over again, you might switch to another game.
See how long it takes Matt to solve this puzzle. I think they did it on the first try. Nice. Oh no, he's dead. Oh jeez. Matt has called the game over at this point.
He has called it. He says it's unrecoverable at this point, and I think it's pretty much true for Dragon Dark. We don't do this too often, but when neither player can make progress in general, we say that's time. So we're going to go ahead and call that and move on. Dragon Dark manages to take the victory here. Oh my gosh, what a game though. It's not a trivial game at all. But honestly, both players did pretty dang well. Matrick got stuck about where I would expect somebody to get stuck. Dragon Dark just blazed through that. You know, 1 or 2 deaths in the stupid floating rock section, but he managed to do that. I'm letting them know if they want, they can come chat with us a little bit, sort of breathe, calm down. It looks like Dragon Dark's here. Hello.
This game was fun.
You liked it?
I don't know how this is a bad game. This is fun.
Oh, wow. Smite?
Yeah. I mean, I like it.
I liked this game. This was different.
I don't know if you'll say it's different once you continue the other 70% of the castle that you have left, and it's the same stuff. That part's why it's bad.
Yeah. Yeah, Matrick ran into some pretty huge issues. Unfortunately, he didn't realize that you could shoot diagonal. He never shot diagonal the entire time.
Oh, I figured it out by accident. Like, I was just holding up when I went to shoot at one point. I'm like, wait a minute, I can do that? Oh, that changes things.
Yeah, let's see. Okay, Matrick. Cadis just told Matrick, and Matrick said what? Let me see. He already killed his streams, or no, let's see if he hops back in. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and head back over there and see it. Oh, he's shooting diagonal up.
Oh, wow.
Oh, he has to be angry. Let's see.
Wow.
More laughter than anger. Okay, that's good.
Very complex solution with tapping jump on sinking platforms to solve it without diagonally shooting. Ultimately, wouldn't have been able to clear the next area without that knowledge, though. Just would not have been able to do it.
Yeah, he got across those platforms to Dragon Dark. That was just mind-blowing. Seriously, like, he definitely had to work in order to do it. You know, you got it second or third try. And that was definitely doable. Yeah, Dragon Dark. So you like this game. I honestly think that it makes sense to have it in Kusogr4nde. This is not a... Like, it has issues. But if you still think it's fun, then that's not necessarily a problem.
I can definitely see I can see where the issues come from. I don't think it, like, I have a hard time defining it as bad game, but I won't say it's good by any stretch.
Mostly it's because of the content they use. They didn't know what game they had on their hands, and they did not design around it very well. I feel like that castle being as long as it is, it really is hard to describe how long it is. You really aren't even half done with it, and
of course
it makes up two of those runes, so you still have a whole lot of game afterwards. But it really is like half of the game is just that setting, puzzle switches, big knights that take way too many hits, all kinds of stuff like that.
How is it so long? I don't know. Whatever. Just everybody. I'm glad that we had this game. Dragon Dark, congrats on the victory. Honestly, you know, you're a strong contender. You won the original Kusogr4nde. I'm excited to see your comeback. And you're destroying everybody and taking the victory this tournament, but who knows?
Well, we'll have to see what happens next match, I guess.
Well, cool. Anything else you want to say before we move on, Dragon Dark?
Good luck to Matt going up against Andy.
Yeah.
Because the loser of this match faces Andy. The winner of the match faces the guy who beat Andy. So it's like, I don't like my bracket. Can I move somewhere else?
Yeah, your odds are right there. At least you know what they are. If you manage to defeat the Andy Slayer, then congratulations. And if you don't, then no shame. That's what we can say. No shame to anybody here. I mean, it's the brackets.
I mean,
You
we're
gotta
all playing in Kusogr4nde. Isn't there a little shame?
Okay, all the shame to everyone. Everybody, shame. Smite, thank you so much for choosing this game. It's been a blast having you here for commentary. I've really enjoyed having you. You two, both of you, take care and have a good day.
Hey, if I can convince somebody to watch this movie, I'm all for it.
I'm good. I think I will. I want to. Well, everybody, thank you so much. This is Kusogr4nde, the Bad Video Game Tournament. We'll let the other two sneak away when they want. I do want to give a shout out to everybody who's following, hosting, subscribing.